So give me just a second to introduce you, and you can do the real introduction. So we'll go in 3, 2, 1.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Don't even worry about it. And welcome everybody to the, I think it's the 3rd track session for today. We are going to be having the pleasure of listening to Christine Baudin, and she's going to be doing a presentation comparing and contrasting 6 common robust AAC apps. And we're very excited to hear from her. I am just going to check the audio visual real quick. And it looks like we're good. So without further ado, I will pass it off to her. So Christine, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Cough Drop, for hosting this amazing conference. I'm very, very excited to be a part of it. And my presentation today is, I actually reduced it to 5 common and robust AAC apps, just in the interest of time, because I have to fit so much into this presentation. And by the way, it might be a little overwhelming to see different features of different apps, but just keep in mind that this is going to be recorded, so you can always go back to the different apps that maybe you want more information about. So my name is Christine Baudin again. I am from Long Island, New York, and I've been a speech language pathologist for over 20 years. And I currently am in private practice, and I see clients individually, and also I consult with school districts, and I do evaluations and consultations and therapy. And I also see a few clients through the New York City Board of Education. So I'm going to head over to my slides. And oops. Okay, so here are my slides. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some slides, and then I'm going to show you the apps. I have a doc cam, and I will show you those apps. And if we could try, I would love to answer any questions. But if we could try to keep them to the end, or you can ask them during the presentation, and then after the presentation, I can also go to Slack and answer some questions. This way, it keeps me try to keep myself on track with the presentation. So let's move on. So why did I choose this topic? Well, many of us have heard of some of these programs that I'm going to talk about, but maybe we don't understand the differences. Maybe we haven't really seen them. I'm also going to talk about what robust vocabulary means, and to let you know that not all vocabulary programs are designed in the same way. So I'm going to show you the main differences in the vocabulary organization and retrieval. And I'm also going to explain why more symbols or icons is actually easier a lot of the time. So the first thing I just want to mention, though, is that even though I'm going to show you a bunch of apps, and I definitely think it's wonderful for students and our clients and our children to start using AAC as soon as possible. It's always really in the best interest of that student to be evaluated formally for augmentative and alternative communication as soon as possible, because we do a very thorough evaluation. We also, an evaluation really should be ongoing, and we look at the elements, dynamic assessment and other informal assessments, and we use that to supplement standardized assessment data, and that's also the ASHA definition. We also look at language skills, and we're also knowledgeable in many, many different language organization systems, both on the iPad and also dedicated devices. We really feature match during an evaluation, and we look also at access methods. So I just wanted to bring that up, but I'm very excited to show you a lot of the programs that are out there. Now, which iPad apps am I going to cover? I wanted to cover apps which are very robust in vocabulary, that have all different kinds of words in different categories of language. So the ones that I chose, because I really couldn't choose all of them, of course, are ones that I've seen a lot in schools that I work, or the ones that are mentioned a lot on Facebook groups. So we're going to talk about Touch Chat for Word with Word Power, Polo to Go, Snap Plus Core First, Lamp Words for Life, and Speak for Yourself. Now, the page sets that I'm going to talk about have between 77 and 120 locations. And you might say, oh my goodness, 77 locations on one page, that's just too much. But in general, when I do evaluations, what I want to do is I want to choose a page design with the smallest symbols an individual can both see and touch. And there are reasons for that I'll go over when we start looking at the apps. So this presentation, by the way, assumes that the individual has no visual or fine motor difficulties and will directly select with his or her finger. So I'm not going to be talking about different kinds of sizes of symbols or spacing or scanning or eye gaze or anything like that. I'm just going to be talking about direct selection as if someone's touching a symbol with their finger. So there are strategies, though, that you can use to introduce fewer symbols without changing the motor plan over time. So what's very important is to keep the motor plan consistent, which means we keep the symbols in the same location. And I'm going to go over that a little bit after. So what is a robust system? A robust system means that a program is very, very well organized. And these days, I mean, 20 years ago, this was a different story. 20 years ago, we had to program a lot of these devices. They didn't come with anything, or what they came with really wasn't very complete. But now there are many, many pre-programmed page sets which are extremely well organized and which have been prepared by experts in the field. So instead of programming ourselves, we should really be more knowledgeable about what is available to us. So robust systems also are often programmed in a way to reduce the cognitive demands by having consistent motor planning and also reduce navigation. If we have to navigate 5 times to get to a verb through 5 pages of verbs, that's going to be a little more difficult for an individual than if it's just 1 page away. A vocabulary program with single words and also a keyboard with word prediction would be part of a robust system, as well as the ability to use some phrases within one button. All of the programs I'm going to be showing today have core and fringe vocabulary, and core vocabulary is what takes up most of the main screen, the main page, and core vocabulary is approximately 80% of what we say in our language when we speak. They are words such as go, stop, in, get, and fringe vocabulary might be really important words, but they're words that we might not say all the time, like dinosaur or bubbles. So those words are going to be on linked pages. So grammar is also supported in all of these programs. It's important to have a program where you can end up working on past tense and on present progressive, for example, of verbs. Maybe you're not going to work on that right away, but it should be embedded in the program so you can work on it when you're ready to work on it. So this is an example. I got this example actually from the LAMP training. And I find that it's really very useful to look at. So take a look at this top keyboard and spell your name on it. If you might be familiar with this layout, it's a QWERTY layout. Go ahead, spell your name really fast. Okay, now you're going to spell your name on this bottom one. So go ahead, spell it really fast. Okay, you probably noticed that you're having trouble with this keyboard on the bottom. And that's because your motor plan is being disrupted. You're used to having these letters and dots that they are in. And so when we teach individuals with AAC, we are teaching them locations. We are teaching them symbols, but they're actually, a lot of students are learning based on the location of those symbols, because some of the symbols are pretty abstract. I mean, how do you symbolize a word like go or get? It's very difficult to symbolize that. So our students learn based on location, and that's why we want to have consistent locations. So this is a way that we can understand that better. So how do I use these pages with my student? Well, you might say, my gosh, I have 77 locations per page. How am I going to use that? Well, the way that you're going to use it is you are going to use it. The communication partner is going to use it. We have to start thinking of these communication devices as a child's second language, as our second language. We all have to start using it. In order for a child to learn sign language, how do they learn it? By seeing sign language. For a child to learn French, what would be the best way? To go to France and be immersed in the language. So we have to look at AAC the same way. We have to start pointing out symbols as we speak, and that's how they're going to make sense to our user. Our children and our students are not going to be able to figure out what to do just because we might get what we think is the greatest app out there or the greatest language program available. So the way that we do that is called aided language input. I actually remember seeing that first called aided language stimulation, which was Goossens, Crane, and Elder in their book about 20 years ago called Engineering the Preschool Environment. So I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've seen how effective it really is. When you use symbols to communicate, that's how the children actually start understanding what to do. So what we do is we point out 1 to 2 symbols of what we say. And if you're speaking to a child, which we're speaking to children, even if they aren't verbally speaking to us back, we want to be able to point out symbols, 1 to 2 symbols of what we say. And we can do that through self-talk, which is talking out loud about what we're doing, parallel talk, talking out loud about what the child is doing, attribute meaning, like if the child's pushing something away, we can say, oh, you're telling me finished, and show them finished. And we just share information, right, about past events, present events, future events. So how do you figure out if a particular page design is good? There are several out there that have great, robust page designs. How do you know? Well, what I always recommend is to write out 3 to 5 sentences of something you might say during the day. You don't necessarily want to write out what you think the child wants to say, but what you might say during the day. And really, you can say anything, right? Absolutely anything. And you want to try to include some different parts of speech within those sentences so you can see how it navigates around the screen. One of the things you want to do when you come up with these sentences is not look at the page set, because if you look at the page set, it's kind of like a Ouija board, like it kind of guides you to the next word, but that's not the way that we generate language. We generate language in our thoughts first, and then we say it, not the other way around. So for this presentation, I'm going to point out most of the words of my sentence for demonstration purposes, but if I was working with an emerging communicator, I would only point out 1 to 2 words. These are the sentences we're going to look at. Can you walk fast? Put that in the broken box. Mom cut her leg yesterday and is hurt. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to be able to show you all of these sentences with all the apps because I'm going to show you different features of the apps, but I will be able to do 1 or 2 of the sentences with each of the apps. And I just came up with these randomly. I really didn't look at any of the apps to see where these were located. Now we're going to look at various features of the app, and these are the features, and I just want you to know that I do have a handout, and if it's not available, it will be available. And on each of these apps, I've described each of these features. So I'm going to go through them quickly because you can have them available to print out the handout, which will be available. So some of these programs, they follow different color coding, and they're called the Fitzgerald key, and this is the color coding. So basically just divides parts of speech into different different groups and color codes them. And it also organizes the pages based on a declarative sentence structure. So that's a sentence that ends in a period or just a statement. So now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to open up my DocCam. So I hope you can still all see this. And the first one we're going to talk about is Touch Chat with Power. So I'm going to go over here. Okay, Touch Chat with Word Power uses symbol sticks. These are the symbols that we use, that are used with Word Power. Color coding is the Fitzgerald key. It's basically categorized, okay? So we have verbs under actions, we have describing words, and we have word groups, which are various categories and items of those categories. That's pretty much the way that it's set up. So the way this is predictive linking. So if it says turn, it will predict what we might want to say. Now, I find that this is very useful, especially for beginning communicators, but sometimes it can be difficult to model because I might say, oh, we're going to take it out. And now I want the child to say it, but the symbol changed. So that's the only thing with this predictive linking. And one of the other ways that language is expanded is, like, for example, in the verb page, if there's only this page, and if you want to add more verbs, you can, or if you want to use a word like cut, you would have to go to the initial letter, and that's how you would find the word cut. Cut. So this particular program has data tracking. It has data tracking inside the program under menus. It's called Enable Logging, and that basically tells you how many, what was said and the time it was said. So that's nice so that we can see if the device is being used and what the child is saying. If you want to go a step above that, you can purchase what's called Realized Language, which was a $9. It's a $9 annual subscription. It's a wonderful program that takes this data and it separates it into parts of speech, into visualizations, into reports, and it summarizes the individual over time. We can also share files and backup. You can do that with all the programs. I'm not going to tell you exactly how it's done with each of these programs, but this particular program has AirDrop. I find AirDrop is super easy, maybe because I just use it all the time. But basically, AirDrop is something within an iPad where you connect it to another iPad through Bluetooth, and the page set just goes directly to the other iPad. So as long as you have the app in another iPad, even if it's not the same account, the same Apple ID, you can share the pages. And this is a good way to save pages. So this here has a search feature. I'm going to show you the search feature. Find word. I'm going to say the word hurt, H-U-R-T. And over here, you see there's a lot of duplication. Now, sometimes duplication can be confusing for the user because they might not know where they found a word before. But if I want to say describing words hurt, it doesn't do anything. So I have to pretty much find the describing words. It doesn't walk me through it. All the other programs, it walks me through it. Okay. Now, all of these programs have social media, okay? All of them do. There's the ability to generate a sentence, press a button, and then you connect it to message. You can send a message through Messenger, as long as it's an Apple product, and you can also send an email. So I'm not going to go into that with each one. And this particular program has really nice support. They have a YouTube channel called TouchChat One. They have Facebook groups, TouchChat app user groups. And there's also subscription support, but to me, it's not really necessary because if I have a question, like I had a question about the data tracking and I asked it in the TouchChat user group and I got an answer within an hour. So it's very, very helpful to have these Facebook groups. So I just want to show you an example, and we're going to talk about our first sentence. And I'm going to go to the 20 location to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go word power, 20 locations. Now, the reason we're going to this location, this particular page set, is because I want you to see that this is what we often find, right? When someone's a communication device, they have not been evaluated by a specialist who has a lot of experience with different page sets. They might recommend something like this, like a 15 location, a 20 location, because they think it's easier. You know, someone thinks it's easier. They're bigger pictures, right? But again, this is robust because we have lots of words in here, but let's see how easy it is to retrieve those words. So we're gonna try to find our first sentence, which is, can you walk fast? So here we go.
Can you?
Oh, here goes the prediction. You see how that predicted to verbs? Now we're under verbs. We're looking for walk. This is our first page. It's not there. This is our second page. Walk is not there. This is our third page of verbs, and here's walk.
Walk.
And the same thing happens with describing words when we want to say the word fast. It's under the third page of describing words. Now, if you're giving this to someone who's an emerging communicator and they don't really know what a verb is, and they don't really know what an adjective is, what might happen is that they might remember that you modeled it, and they might go to here and then they don't see it. And then what often happens from my experience is that they go back to the main page and they try another category because they don't really know what a verb is or an adjective is. So this is what this is why there can be a lot of breakdown with communication programs that are designed this way. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go back to our 108 page. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go back to our 108 page design. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I found that, I'm going to find the same exact sentence on here. And the reason I showed you the 20 on here is because programs we're going to talk about today that do have other options of layouts with larger symbols. And you're going to have the same problem with all of them when you go into a layout that has few symbols per page that are larger. So can you walk fast? So here we go. We're going to go can you. Walk is not a common core word, so we're going to go to actions. And walk is over here.
Walk.
And fast. I'm going to go to describing words, and fast is right here.
Fast.
So once you show the child, you know, the child doesn't have to understand what a verb is in order to use this. They don't understand what an adjective is, and they don't have to understand what a category is in order to retrieve items of categories. They just have to learn the motor plan. That's why everything needs to be in one spot only and never move locations. So if you start with a 20 location and upgrade, thinking, okay, now I can go to 40, now I can go to 60, now I can go to 80, what's going to happen? Everything they learned is going to change locations. They're going to have to relearn everything. Okay? So that's why if it's one link away, a child can really learn it through the motor planning. And this has good motor planning, this app. I really like it. So we're going to say put that in the broken box. That's going to be the last one I'm going to show you. Put that in. The broken is describing words again. We're going to go to the word broken. And we're going to go to box, which is under word groups and containers. And here's box. Okay?
Put in broken box.
So again, to us, this looks easy, right? It makes sense to us. We know what a verb is. We know what a describing word is. We know what categories are. But for a user, we have to remember that they don't know that. So we really need to model our language a lot with them. And the other thing is that, let's say they want to say the word like leave, L-E-A-V-E. Would they know that that's a verb? They might not know that, right? We've modeled it. So then they're going to start exploring. And that's where it can be a little tough because they don't know the parts of speech. And it's difficult to teach. Oops. It's difficult to teach. So I'm going to move on. Our next one is Proloco to Go. Proloco to Go uses symbol sticks also. This is the 7x11 Crescendo Intermediate Core Grid. This grid that you will that will come up when you go through a user and create a new user. Also Fitzgerald key, but the color coding is Goossens, Crane, and Elder, which is just a different color coding, but it still separates the different parts of speech. This particular program has core words that are kind of in a U shape over here that follow you from one page to another. So I go to describing words, like if you look at they and that, and I go to food, you see they're still here. But what ends up happening sometimes is that some of the words follow you, like stop, and then sometimes the words don't. So sometimes what can happen is the individual will need to rely on their scanning skills a lot because they don't remember if the word's there or not, and the word's duplicated quite a bit. The other thing is this takes up a lot of room. So when you have your fringe vocabulary like this, you don't have a lot of room for that. So the way that they organize that is like through action words. They have subcategories, and I'm going to show you that when we put our sentences together. This also has data tracking. So like I go, we're going to go over here, and we're going to go to recents. All this does over here is it shows you some of the recent things that I see. It doesn't tell you the time, and it doesn't, that's really all it does. It doesn't really go back to several days. So that's what's available at this time. You can also share files, but it doesn't have AirDrop, but there are many and save files. The search feature is very nice on here. I'm going to search for the word hurt. There are a couple of locations here, but let's say we're going to go. You see how it kind of leads you through help and hurt. And all of the apps do that with the exception of TouchChat with WordPower. Hopefully TouchChat with WordPower will add that soon. So Assistiveware is the parent company. They're really an amazing company. They have what's called Classroom on their Core Word Classroom is available on their website. And Core Word Classroom is incredible. I mean, it gives you so many ideas, like 5 fillers of different toys and what kind of core words you can model. And it's incredible. So if you're not familiar with that, check it out. You can use it also for other apps or other language programs, and it's a free resource. They also have a parent and a professional Facebook group, and the support, I have to say, for Proloco to Go is great. Pam Harris has been working for them for a long time, and she's amazing. She's answered so many of my questions over the years, and she's on those Facebook groups and answers questions right away. And there are also other people that work for Assistiveware that are just amazing. So the support's fantastic. All right, we're going to go and find some of our sentences. So can you walk fast?
Can you?
Now, walk is, again, not a very common core word, so we're going to go into action words. And it's not over here. So we have to know that it's under body, okay? So we press body.
Walk.
And when we want to say fast, we go to describing words. And again, fast isn't here. So we go to our next page, and we have to know now that fast is under size and speed. Now, if I cover this, would you know that the word fast is there, right? I'm doing that because I want you to realize that when we use these pages, what are we doing? We're reading, right? But our students and our children are not necessarily reading. They're relying on symbols and the motor plan. So keep that in mind. So it's a little hard to know when there is when they have subcategories.
Fast. Can you walk fast?
And here's another one. I'm going to do put that in the broken box. So put is a common core word.
Put.
Put that in. The broken is describing words. Again, it's not here. We're going to go to the next page, and broken happens to be under opposites.
Broken.
And now I'm going to say box. I'm not sure where box is, so I'm going to use my word finder, which is search box. I'm pressing that, and it's leading me through, which is really wonderful. Next page of things, then it's in household, and then we have box.
Box. Put in broken box.
Okay, so those are the words that I'm going to show you for Proloco to Go. And we are going to move on now to the next page set, which is Snap plus Core First. First is from Toby Dynavox. This is set up a little bit differently, but it's the same as the other ones. You have different page grid options. This is the 8x10. I happen to like this one a lot. The organization is the same, Fitzgerald key, Fitzgerald color coding, but the symbols are picture communication symbols, PCS, from Mayor Johnson. Toby Dynavox owns Mayor Johnson. I happen to really like these symbols a lot, especially symbols that are a little more abstract, like the verb symbols. I like the way they're not stick figures. That's just personal kind of preference, but the symbol sticks are also really great symbols. That's what most of the other programs have. So one of the things that this particular page set has, it has what we talked about with actions and describing words and objects and, categories of objects. It also has subcategories like Prologo to Go does, but this also has topic pages. So we can go to topic page, we can go to, let's say, doctor, and we could say,
I don't like that.
I don't like, go to the doctor. So this looks like it's really great, and it is good for some students. I would definitely consider this for some students. But the only problem that can happen when you have topic pages is that, someone might have said, I don't like that. And now they are in a supermarket and somebody pushed them and they want to say, I don't like that. And they don't remember where they saw that, and then they start going from one topic page to another and they can't find it. And then before you know it, they give up. So that's why it's great to be able to show them how to say don't like through combining core words, right? So we can hide symbols pretty easily with this program. We can multi-select different symbols and then we can hide them. And then we can also bring them back. But the user themselves cannot do that. And I just remembered I forgot to show you one thing with Prologo to Go. Maybe we'll go back to it after this in terms of hiding symbols. So data tracking, there's no data tracking available for this product. Sharing and backing up files, yep, you can do that, but there's no airdrop, but there are many ways. Saving messages, no, the user cannot save a message under an individual icon. So search feature, yes, it has a search feature. We're going to say hurt. It also guides you through, which is nice. So hurt would be under, now we have to go to this one, now we have to go to this one, and that's
hurt.
Okay, so let's go to some of our words. Oh, and support, by the way, is also really good. The Toby Dynavox website is absolutely incredible. There's great training. There's also something called the Pathways app, which is an app you can load. I really don't have time to show it, but they show the app, they describe it, they have lesson plans, they have handouts for parents, and it's a free app, so I would definitely check that out. And they also have Facebook groups. So we want to say, can you walk fast? So can. Oops, I'm going to clear that.
Can. You.
You. Walk is not here. We're going to go to a separate section. And walk is right here. Yay.
Walk.
Walk. And we're going to say fast, describing words, and fast. And I like the way it's right next to slow, because that's what I know with language, right? I understand opposites. So.
Can you walk slow fast?
Can you walk slow fast? Can you walk fast? Okay. I don't know where it is. There's also the, there's also related links, but I don't know where broken is. So I am going, if I were to search, I'm just letting you know, broken is not available under an adjective or a verb. It's only available under various topic pages. So I'm going to spell it. And I just want to show you something here. Put that in the broken. I'm going to press B.
B.
Oops. B.
B. R.
Oh, the one was there before. Broken showed up right away because I practiced this before. And this app has a prediction for the word prediction. It predicts what you're going to say based on what you've said in the past. So I think that's a really nice feature. Put that in the broken, and I'm going to look for box under the search. Okay. I don't know why it didn't come up. Box. Oh, it did. Whoops. That. So I'm going to go here. First, I have to go there. I have to go to home. Then I have to go to related lists. Then I have to go to containers. And that's where box is.
Box. Put in broken box.
So just keep in mind how easy it is to get to symbols and how much navigation is required for the program. So this is the other app I wanted to show you. Now, let me go back to Prologo to Go because I don't believe that I showed you progressive language, and I really wanted to show you that. Progressive over here when we talk about hiding symbols. I already did that over here. I went to explore. It's something you can set up in settings. Over here, you only have a couple of symbols visible, and they have different stages of this. And what I like is that the individual can go in here by themselves, and they can have all the symbols present again. So it only does that with core. The fringe vocabulary stays the same, but it's a really nice feature. So I just wanted to show you that with Prologo to Go. So we're going to move on to LAMP Words for Life. All right, LAMP Words for Life. This program uses unity symbols. Okay, that's the type of symbols that are here. Unity is a particular symbol set, and it's from semantic compaction. Semantic compaction means multiple meaning icons. And this was developed by Bruce Baker in 1982, okay? That's a long time ago. People have been communicating with programs with semantic compaction for a long time, and they communicate very effectively with these programs. In 1995, that's when Unity was developed, and a few years ago, they came out with LAMP Words for Life, which has 84. It has some fewer symbols than Unity, because there's some combinations here, like the can and the drinker together. So I'm going to explain to you how that works. So if we look at the word apple, all the other programs I showed you before had single meaning icons, right? So if you would have seen this icon or symbol, it would have said apple, right? But in this program, if we press the apple, we get eat, we get hungry, we get all items, we get feed, right? We're getting words that are related to this icon. So what's nice about that is that someone who doesn't understand parts of speech really, like verbs or adjectives, and maybe hasn't learned a word yet through a model, they might be able to find it on their own through these associations. So let's take a look at this one. This is a bed here. So what do you think you would associate with bed? Maybe sleep is there. What else? Tired, wake, right? So if you wanted to say the word tired in some of the other programs that are really organized through categories and parts of speech, tired you would find under descriptive words or adjectives, right? So, but if you're introducing this to someone who doesn't really understand the rules of our language and they want to say the word tired, what are they going to visualize? What would you visualize if you were thinking you were tired? I visualize my bed when I'm tired. So I really like that about this program. I think, and what I have noticed, even though it's a little hard for us, we have language structure in our head already. We know what a language structure is. But for people who don't, this makes a lot of sense. And I've also seen that people can go to the word finder, and they do use the word finder when they have emergent spelling skills, and they can do that by themselves. So let's say I want to say the word hurt. Now remember, H-U-R-T. The word hurt, multiple locations on the other pages that I showed you. This will only have one. Every single word only has one location on here. So hurts would be under this, under help. Maybe hurts under there because when you hurt yourself, you go to the bathroom and you might get it banned from the bathroom or clean yourself up in the bathroom. Hurt, there it is. Okay?
Hurt.
And by the way, this was 3 selections, right? I'm going to go to help. I'm going to go to, now this is hurt. So I would think it would speak right now, but it doesn't speak. But what other options do I have here? I'm going to hit, I'm going to select this. So to me, even though those are 3 selections, it's not the same thing as doing 3, 4 selections of verb pages of words that are completely unrelated to one another that just happen to be under the category of verbs. It's really 2 selections to me. That's what I've seen when people use it, when my students use it. So hiding symbols you can go through menu. And what they have is vocabulary builder. So you select the symbols that you want to be visible and all the rest hidden. So I did that already. And right now, you see how much easier it is to see this on a page. So this is really, if you're starting with a student and you feel like it's way too much on a page, start with fewer symbols on the page and grow. Keep the motor plan the same. Don't start with a 20 location with large symbols, because you're going to mess up the motor plan once you move, once you upgrade, right? So that's what you're going to do. And it's nice to have this feature of Vocabulary Builder. But the only thing with Vocabulary Builder is that the individual can on and off themselves. You have to go into menu. There's also the ability to use different vocabularies. All the vocabulary is the same, but you can have one hit. So if you press this one, it'll say come immediately. It won't link to another page. Or transition, some of the verbs and adjectives will still be there. And then the full version. This is the full version. You don't have to go through the first two to get to full version when you work with the child. I very often don't recommend the first two. I go directly to the full version because that's where all my language is and I need to model. So this here has data tracking, same thing as TouchChat with WordPower. It's similar programming to that. So you have the same types of data tracking, such as realized language and enabling data. You can also save messages in here like I could with TouchChat with WordPower. They don't have a page where they did that, but it is possible to do it. And I made one up right here. So if you press store here, hold on, I'm going to say something. I'm going.
I'm going.
Oh, I like that how you could put that together like that carrier phrase, I'm going. Now I want to save that. Okay, so I'm going to go to my talk. I made a new page over here and I'm going to press this, say continue. And now I can clear it and whoops.
I'm going.
And now I can say that again. So you can end up storing multiple phrases. Over here, I said,
hi, my name is Christine. It's so nice to meet everyone. Today I will give you a speech and talk about AAC. I have worked in the field of AAC for the past 20 years.
You see, so it's kind of nice to have it as a feature, and you can add it with this program, which is really great. So search the word finder is really fantastic. We used it before. And support, one of the things that this particular program has is it has a great support system through AAC Language Lab, which is a website, and it is $19 a year, which is very reasonable. They have amazing lesson plans. They walk you through language development, language stages. It's very useful, and you don't have to be working with Language for Life in order to take advantage of that program that they have. There are also other resources, including Facebook user pages, and all that is going to be on the slides for you. So let's go ahead and figure out some of our words here. So can you walk fast? Okay, now look at this. This is a can, right? So can you? Oh, I love the way you can put that together.
Can you?
You can actually ask a question, or you can say you can, or can you? Can I? Do you want? Right? Do I want? Okay, so can you walk? Now, if I didn't know where walk was, I would look around here and say, I have no idea. Maybe it's over there, but maybe if it's not, let me look. Oh, maybe it's the sneaker or the tennis shoe, as we see in some regions of the United States. So I'm looking over here, and there it is, walk. And take the other words that are under this the sneaker. We have bounce, we have swing, walk.
Walk.
Can you walk? And fast. Fast happens to be a core word also under, and it makes, it's related to the sneaker.
Fast.
Right? And again, over here, we have the verbs are always in this spot with the different endings. And the describing word or adjective is always over here. Okay, so that's can you walk fast? Let's put that in the broken box. So put, this is a core word. Put that in, these are, we put it in, around, under, right? In. The broken, if something is broken, where would I look for broken? Take a look at the hammer. Maybe we can break something with the hammer. See, this is how I work with the kids that I work with too, so that they learn it. And here's the word break and broken.
Broken.
And box, again, we can go over here. This looks like it's a box, a chest, or maybe a box. And these are all different containers.
Box. Put in broken box.
So there we go. That's put in the broken box. And since we have a little bit more time than I thought we would at this time, we're going to do the last one here. Mom cut her leg yesterday and is hurt. So here we go. Mom would be here under people, right? Mom.
Mom.
Cut. Now, I haven't practiced this one in a while, but I know that over here, the colors art things, right? So let's see. Cut.
Cut.
Her leg. These are all body parts up here. Leg.
Leg.
Yesterday is a time concept. All of the apps time concepts like this. Yesterday.
Yesterday.
And is hurt. We actually looked that up before. Do you remember? It was over here. When you're hurt, you might indeed. Hurt.
Hurt.
Isn't it interesting how they put this plus this is hurt, right? That makes sense. Because that's how the old Unity program was. It wasn't a dynamic display. You had to combine icons, and based on the associations of the combinations is how you came up with the words. So that is LAMP Words for Life. And the last one I'm going to talk about is Speak for Yourself. I think on Proloco to go, but the symbols are so tiny. But this is the only option for Speak for Yourself. Also with LAMP, the one that we just looked at, LAMP Words for Life, that was the only option. So you have to learn what's here. And if you have more symbols, it's actually easier because you have more core words on the main page. This is designed through having core words on the main page and also categories. So over here we have a little guy riding a bike. We push that. And we have all of our vehicles there. So we just learn through modeling where things are located, right? Yes, that's right. And also has some associations. You know, that's what I've noticed. Like the word cut is under here, I believe. So when you make something, you have over here, you would find the word cut, which I haven't looked at in a while, so don't remember where it is. Here it is.
Cut.
Right? You cut something when you make something. When you bake. So one of the features that's really nice with this is that you can open and close symbols. And most of the time when I see individuals that have used this on Facebook groups, they don't have all of the symbols open. And by the way, these symbols are called Smarty symbols, okay? And you can change the symbol if you want by screenshotting another symbol and putting it in. Or if you go to the Speak for Yourself user group on Facebook, there's another symbol set you can also choose, which is free, which was made for someone with the cortical visual impairment. So over here, if we go to open and close, we can open and close a bunch of symbols. So let's say these are going to be, the rest are going to be closed when I say done. So let's say I want to keep read also. I'm going to say done. Now I press this button and now it's closed. So now only the open, okay? And I can set it up that the child can't get into settings, but what they can do by themselves is they can go to Babel and they can see all the symbols on their own when they want, and they can explore. And I find that's a really nice feature, okay?
Read.
Okay, so data tracking is available in the app. This is one of the really the only programs that I've seen so far that has pretty good data tracking within the app that's not extra. You can track words used, you can track phrases and utterances used. You can also share, back up. It has AirDrop, which I love. You can email files. It's really pretty easy. Saving messages, yes, it has that through hold that thought. So let's say I want to say, I'm going to say like you can. You can. And let's say I want to hold that thought. I'm going to go over here. Is have someone generate a very. So search feature is really great on here. I'm going to open. Search feature is really great on here. I'm going to open everything up. Oopsie. Just really nice, guiding me where to go because I would have a hard time with it. And hurt is here.
Hurt.
Okay. So I really like the search feature. I like the way it also, when you search, it gives you a prediction of different symbols too, which is really cool. And what's also cool is if I go Babel and I want to, let's say I want to add the word hurt, and I'm in this, and the child wants to add the word hurt, and they go here, and they start spelling hurt. have a fantastic Facebook group, Speak for Yourself user group. There is a following for this app. I mean, a lot of parents find this on their own and they use it with their kids. It's a really robust app, and it's a good app, but people can get a little overwhelmed by it. But don't forget, you write symbols, and you can change the symbols if you don't like the symbols also. The developer for yourself have a web too, and they write different blog posts, and they are really well written and very informative. So I would definitely take a look at that as well. And then I have other resources in the slide. So let's take a look at some of our words, and then we're going to be all done, and we'll have some time for questions. So can you walk fast? Okay, can. By the way, when I press a button here and I press the same button, it will always speak. Core word is up here. So again, see, I don't have to move around.
Can.
I think that's kind of cool. So can. With these apps, so I'm going to go over here, and my motor planning is off because I keep going from one to the other. Oh, that's right. It's right here. Walk happens to be right on the main screen because there's so many symbols that you can add a core word that's not as frequent right on the main page like that. So walk. And fast. This is what I mean. There also are some, it's not only organized by category, but also by some associations. So fast, if you were just looking, you might think that fast would be under this symbol instead of this one, right? So fast is right there. And I like the way the opposites are together.
Fast. Can you fast?
And we'll do one more. We'll do put that in the broken box. So go put, look, I'm putting something in a microwave. Put that in. I go in through a door.
In.
The broken, if something is broken, I happen to know it's here. When you do something, this is where all the tools are located. It's category of tools. And when you do something, it can break. See all the tools, and here's broken.
Broken.
And box is over here again. This is again related, right? And these are all containers. Box. So now with all of what I didn't show you with all the programs is what I can do with this one, since I have another minute before I want questions, is when you come up with a sentence, or when someone new sequence, it's always good to try to repeat it again after, because that's how you learn the motor pattern. So let's do put that in the broken box again, and let's see if we're a little faster this time. Maybe you can look with me. So put, right? Put that in.
In.
The broken. Oh.
Broken.
And box.
Box. Put in broken box.
Okay, so did you see how much faster it was the second time? So I do advise doing that. That's always, really helpful. So I think that's all. I do have other information on the slides about each of these programs, but I'm going to exit from here. And I am going to here. I'm going to say thank you so much. And let's see, I'm going to go over here to, I think I have to go to stop sharing, right, to show myself. Okay, here I am. So I'd like to open it up if anybody has any questions or any feedback questions.
Christine, there's been a lot of discussion on Slack about your session, tons of just good feedback on people supporting apps and some of the features and functions you've been reviewing. We have had some buffering issues throughout the session, but it's not something we could have controlled, and the recording will be perfect and clear. So a lot of the discussion was there. But if you want to maybe go into Slack after this and address some of those questions, I think that will be most useful. But a lot of people just giving you accolades and saying thanks for the great presentation.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you again to Cough Drop for hosting this fabulous conference. I'm learning so much, so thank you.
Of course. So we'll take the conversation offline, and we'll have Christine